everyone, welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios and Stampin' Up! Sunday. Today I was inspired yesterday, or actually on Friday's video from Deb Houck's Crafty Cottage, where she was working with the Gnome for the holiday set. Now you've seen me work with this before, but she said something that made me go, oh my God, because, you know, Christmas is only like 8 weeks away, and every year we do, my husband and I put together cookie trays that we deliver to businesses in 3 counties that have served us throughout the year. We don't do family gifts. We do stockings and gifts just for the 2 of us, but we don't shop for our daughters and our granddaughters. They get the baked goods because they enjoy them, but my daughter doesn't bake much, so that's Christmas for them. So baking is what we do every holiday. And it's the only time I can bake all of our favorite goodies, keep a small sample for ourselves, and then get the rest of them out of the house. So it's been a tradition with us for about 20 years. And Deb said something about doing these, and it went, I have not even thought about the gift tags that I need for all of our cookie trays. Somewhere between 60 and 100. I've not checked my list for this year. Some years, some get subtracted because they're no longer in business, or we've not dealt with them for a couple of years. Others, we add to, so it averages between 60 and 100 cookie boxes every year. So I decided that I would follow her example, and I would use the Gnome for the holidays, and I would make the gift tags to go on our goodie boxes. So here's the start of what we're going to make today, and it's going to be a quick walkthrough video. I'm going to show you a couple of tips, move that piece aside, and bring in a finished section. So that's how we're going to run this today. I didn't really want to tag this wide because I wanted to do one of the decorative tag topper punches that Stampin' Up! Has, but unable to get Bob and I on our tag, I had to go with a tag that was 3 inches by 3.5, and what I did was I started by laying the stamps down here on my grid and getting a placement, and then I knew how big I needed to cut my tags. Then I took a half of a tag and I gave myself my diagonal cut, and I was going to leave one out here not cut, but I didn't. So I lined it up just like this, cut off the corner, flipped it over, went to the other side, lined it up, and clipped off the corner. And that's what I've done with 5 tags so far. I only got another 55 or 70 to go, so we're okay with that. The other part I haven't done yet is because I forgot. I added our shimmer crystal effects to the bell and the top of the star on Mrs. Claus's tree. What I'm going to put up here is the Merry Christmas from the Many Blessings stamp set. It fits perfectly up here. And then on the back side of the tag, I will have wishing you a season of joy, a season of cheer, but most of all, a wonderful year from Snowflake Sentiments. And I'm not sure if these are still available, but what I encourage you to do is look through your stamp sets and use what you have. That's perfectly acceptable to do. So when I get back with these, I'm going to go back and I'm going to stamp this in the real red at the top of the tag. And I may do some of them real red, some of them in the, I think I'm using shaded spruce for the tree. So then I went through and I chose my colors and I colored in my image. Let's see if I can bring this up. The star and the bell are colored with, all of these are colored with the Stampin' Blends. I've used Dark Daffodil Delight. Any place you see the green, that is the light shaded spruce. The red is dark real red. I did the ivory on the face as well as light petal pink, and I'll show you what I did with that in a minute. And then the beard and hair are done with dark and light Smokey Slate, and then dark black dark basic black on the boots and the shoes. So let's show you how I colored this in. First off, before I do anything else, I guess maybe I do need to cut one of these tags because I want to show you what I did. So let's rip one of these apart really quick. Now I am using the thick Whisper White cardstock because I'm out of Whisper White cardstock. I've got to get a paper order in. While I'm thinking paper order, remember that we have a Designer Series paper sale going on that is good until the 31st, which is only 7 days away. So if you want or are running low on your favorite Designer Series papers, now is the time to go in and order those. And I'm just going to cut these strips apart while I'm here, so I'll have them done. And I won't have a piece laying here in my way, so all this many tags will be pre-cut and ready to roll. Okay, so there's that. And we're going to work with one of those. Get this over here out of the way. And here's my tag template, and all I did was sandwich it up, make it even. See where I laid my scissors? There they are. Cut that off. Flip the tag over and go to the other side. And this is a way that you get a uniform corner on both sides. Okay, and then I labeled it so that I would know this was my tag piece, so I wouldn't lose track of it. Okay, then what I did was I brought in my Stamparatus, and I determined where on my Stamparatus tag had to go. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but if I'm doing multiples on the Stamparatus, I can never remember when I pull one off where the next one has to go, how I had everything lined up. So I have just put some washi tape down here on the glass in the grid so that I can line my tag up the same spot every time. Put my magnets into place, and here's another trick. If you put a stamp case underneath, you won't be applying pressure on your hinges or your Stamparatus. Now, if you're not familiar with the Stamparatus, this is Stampin' Up's version of the Misty with some neat little extra features that allows you to repetitively stamp on items so that you can do multiple items, line them up in the exact same spot, or if they don't stamp clear the first time, you can re-ink and go back and restamp right exactly in the same spot. Now, I don't have my silicone mat under here that gives me my little extra leverage, but we're good. So there's a couple of tips on the Stamparatus. And then I lay a piece of scrap paper in here so that I don't get that ink on my glass. Okay, so we have that. That's one I just did. Let's give it a chance to dry. Okay. Let's see. What do I want to do first? What I did was I did the skin first, and I'm really glad I did because I used this color lifter again, and this is the one that leaked on me the other day, and so it washed out her nose. So by doing that, I was able to cover that washout up when I went back and colored the tree. And I used a fine tip and my cheaters. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but let's get her neck and her little hands, and then go through and do her face. Now see how dark this is? That's okay. I'll come back and cover the nose. Then we're going to come over here and do Bob's hands. A little strip under his hat where his face is peeking through in his nose. Okay. Now, since I know that one leaks, I'm going to be better prepared this time. And I'm going to use this piece of scrap paper here. If I can find one, this will work. And make sure that it's not going to color lift everywhere. And then I can go back and I can color, and I go back over my color, and it does just that. It kind of tones it down, washes out, lifts up some of the color a little bit. And we'll give her a chance to dry and lift out. And we'll take some color off his nose. We're going to leave his face kind of dark because it's shadowed by his hat. See how that lightened that up just by going back and picking up some of that color off of there. Now, I don't know about the North Pole, but it's cold here today. They took the rain out of our forecast. And it's just flat cold. Our highs are only going to be in the 40s for the next week. So what I'm doing is I'm using the light Petal Pink. And I'm just shading the nose a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of frostbite. And I always thought that was a cute trick that Deb suggested. Okay, then I came back with the Daffodil Delight. Remember, I'm using the dark daffodil and the ballpoint. Now, the bell has this little band right here, and I'm leaving it alone. And I'm just putting the color on either side, so it appears as if it's got a gold bell. And at the very end, when I'm ready to set this aside, I will go back and put the crystal effects on there. Okay, so now I'm using Real Red. And I wound up not using the light Real Red. I wound up only using the dark. And even though he's got snowflakes on his hat, it's North Pole, so it doesn't matter. I can still go back over this. It doesn't have to be blue or Highland Heather purple, or red is just perfect. And since I have so many of these to do, if I get them all stamped and prepped, this coloring part will be a good thing for me to do while I'm watching videos with my sister in the morning when she's speaking to me, or catching up with videos from my friends. And then on Mrs. Claus, all I did was I went back and I colored just her dress. I left the apron white, and I colored just her dress. That's odd. I had to have the cheaters on to color in Santa's hat, but I had to take them off to color Mrs. Claus's dress. I really need new glasses. But getting glasses back right now is taking forever, so I've not even bothered going in. And then I've got the little holly berries here on her dress, and I'm just going to dot those. And then I have the dark black. And we're going to come in and we're going to, oh, I got to do his arms too. I forgot that. We're going to come back here and do his boots. Now I could have just shaded these and then come back in with the light black, but his boots are coal black, so I didn't really think they needed shading. Let me pull that Real Red back out again and get his sleeves on his shirt here. The rest of him is hidden by that voluptuous beard, which Bob tends to have once in a while. I have to remind him at times he really needs to trim it down. Now I've gone back and I've done just the light Smokey Slate first. Trying to make sure I keep my head out of the way and still be able to see what I'm doing. There. Now I will come back in with the dark and tone that down and give that a little bit more shading, but I'm coming in with the solid, or with the light Smokey Slate first. And instead of just scribbling all over, I am going back and doing strand by strand, fold by fold, because that helps keep the definition in the beard, in those lines. Well, I was so glad Deb's commented on this set Friday, on her Friday free-for-all, because I'd have been sitting here the first week in December getting ready to bake and not having tags done for my cookie trays. So, thank you, Deb. Okay, then, oh, that's the black. I need the dark Smokey Slate. That's the one I need. And I'm just going to come in just in a few places here. Nothing. Add some definition there, and I did the same thing on her hair here, right up against her face. Okay. Then I used the light Spruce No, I used the dark spruce. Did I use light, dark? Let me see. I'll tell you in a minute. I thought I had laid them aside, but let's use the light. Let's use the light. Now, instead of swirling around like I tell you to normally do, what I'm doing is I'm following what would be the bough direction, or the direction of the boughs on the tree. While I'm coloring this and thinking about Christmas, I want to send a shout out, happy birthday, to my very best friend in Colorado. Karen and I have been friends since 7th grade. And today is her birthday, and not only is it her birthday, but it is her first birthday being a grandma. So, she is spending the day with her new grandbaby. Okay. Now I'm using one of our new colors. I'm using the Magenta Light. And going back and... Of course, when I say today, I mean Saturday, which is when I'm recording this. Even though you're seeing this on Sunday. But she'll know what I mean. And that's all there is to coloring this in. Now, I'm going to come back here with this other tray and show you what I'm doing with this wording. Actually, I don't think I'm going to... They're all going to come out in about the same spot. So let's do this. And let's do the sentiment in. There were some of these I never got colors in for. Let's do them in real red. I just know I'm going to dump this all over the place. I got to finish getting the stamping corner cleaned out, but there's other projects that have to come first. Okay, so here's real red. And because I've got the placement of these, I know where they're going to go. And actually what I should do is poke my hole on the top. And I will probably adhere these with a gold or silver cord to the boxes. So let's take, I don't know where to put glasses on or off. I'm going to put that hole up relatively close to the top so that I can come back, give the Die Gruenig huff there. And I'm going to use that hole as my guide, and I'm going to stamp that just below the hole. And there we go. There's that. And I saved this other one. Wishing you... And it's a rubber stamp, okay. And we'll put it on here. And I'm going to stamp it in Memento Black. And make sure I've got it right side up. That's always a plus. And then I'm going to flip this over. I didn't think about that coming through that thick white. Maybe if I do those in the lighter, I may just glue them together. And then there will be room across the bottom for me to sign Bob and I's names on the bottom. I may do that. I may do these in the lighter weight cardstock, the rest of these. I can use those in journals elsewhere. And double layer them, color them first, and then double layer them. I may do that. And that's why we do this. That's why we play together, because we find things that do work, things that don't work so well, and things we need to work on. Remember the Designer Series paper sale? I will put the link for that down below. You only have until the 31st to get your paper order in. And if you don't have a demonstrator that you work with, I would be happy to help you. My email and contact information is in the description box below. let's get ready for Christmas because that next 8 weeks is just gonna fly. And with this colder weather, we ought to be in the mood for Christmas anyway. Thanks for joining. Remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and we will see you tomorrow with the baby album flip through. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. Creative blessings.